So why aren't you getting any better, right? You've done the shadow work, you've seen a therapist, you may have done tapping, the EFT, you might meditate every day, and yet you are still here and it is not working. And there are two fundamental reasons why that I found for myself why I was not getting better. So number one, victim. You are addicted to being a victim. And not many people talk about this because it's pretty dark. It really is. But for those of us that have been raised with trauma from day one, I'm not talking about the people that had something happen to them at 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or even 2 or 3. Because if you had some time on this planet where you had love and you had connection, even if it was 12 months, where you had love and connection, then there is this foundation that is created in that time. Let's say 12 months to 2 years. If you had a relatively trauma-free life, then you have a pretty good foundation that's created that is filled with love. Let's say you had a mum and you had a dad and you were breastfed and you were held and you were cuddled and all of these things, and you had that, and then something happened when you were 2 and it created massive amounts of trauma. There will always be a foundation that that person can fall back on, that they grow with for the rest of their life. They have a foundation. But what about those of us that don't have a foundation? What about those of us that came flooding out into this world and we walked day one straight into trauma? Happy days. This is why you're addicted to being a victim, is because it's at your core. Your core, your foundation, everything that has been in your environment has been trauma-based. It has been negative. It has been fueled with patterns that are around negative thinking, negative experiences, negative emotions. You probably don't know what love is. You probably don't know how to receive love. You probably don't know how to give love. And all of that creates this massive victim. It's not a mentality, it's a being. There's a massive difference between someone that has a victim mentality and someone that has a victim being. There's a big difference between someone who dips in to being a victim because something happened to them, and I'm not saying that what happened to them wasn't horrible and it wasn't bad and it wasn't scary and it wasn't all of those things. It absolutely was. What I'm saying is that they have a foundation that they can fall back in. They have a foundation that they can come back to, that anchors them back into love, connection, self-worth, a calmness. And that is where people who do meditation, who do the trauma work and the shadow work, they seem to just get it. It seems to work for them. They do manifesting and they seem to be able to have all of this happen really, really, really easily for them. They've had horrible things happen to them. They have had abuse. They have had terrible accidents. They have had people do horrendous things to them, but they just seem to be able to bounce back from it, or they seem to be able to come through it relatively easily. Whereas you, me, still stuck in the mud. We're still stuck in the mud while everybody around us is walking past, and you're like, hang on a minute, you started after me. I started 5 years ago. You started a year ago. How are you walking past me right now? Right? Do you get what I mean? It's like, I see it often is people around me, or I start watching someone on YouTube and they're starting to share their journey, and all of a sudden 6 months later they're through their journey and now they're coaching people and they're off. They're manifesting like a crazy person, and they go, it's so easy. All you have to do is this. And I look at that and I go, yeah, I did that like 10 years ago. It's not that easy. And this is what I've come to realize. And this is what I've realized that people aren't talking about. And maybe it's because a lot of us haven't gone through our stuff. A lot of us haven't made it out the other side. I really feel like I have made it out of the mud. I am out of the mud. I am one of the people that is walking. But I came into this world with trauma, and I was in such a dark place, and I was such a victim. And it wasn't a mentality, it was a victim beingness. It was my being, my negative. So at my core was hate and anger and resentment and sadness. All of these things is what I was born into. This is what I was fed from the day I came out of my mother. And it creates a victim. But what happens is the reason why it's so hard to drop it is because it's an addiction. It's so strongly part of our being, and because it's inside of us. It's not like alcohol or anything like that, where if you're an addict, you can put it down and walk away. You cannot put yourself down. So every day you are walking around with you. It's almost like an alcoholic walking around with a bottle of wine in their hand, trying not to drink it while they're trying to get over their addiction to it. Could you imagine it? Could you imagine how hard that would be? But that's exactly what you're doing, is that you are trying, or this is exactly what you need to do, should I say, not doing, because you may not be doing this work, but this is exactly what you need to do and understand. Is the reason it is so hard is because you are like an alcoholic trying to give up alcohol while you are forced to carry a bottle of wine in your hand, but you're not allowed to drink it, and the bottle of wine is open. It's like right there. You don't even have to open it. It's open for you and it's full. And every time you walk, a little bit sloshes out and you can smell it. So it wafts past your nose. But you're not allowed to drink it, and you've also got to get over your addiction to it. That is what being a victim is like a victim in your beingness. That's what it's like. And it is really hard. It is so hard. There is a way through. I promise you there is a way through. And if you do want help, I'm going to jump in right now and say, if you do want help, I do free sessions for people. I do free group sessions because I understand that as a victim, you probably can't work. You probably aren't manifesting money like a crazy person. You probably aren't in the world living your best life. You are probably at home, unable to work, barely functioning, if you're anything like me or like I was. You are barely functioning and barely existing in this world. And so I have created free group workshops for people like you who do not have any money. And you can go to my website. There's a link in the description below, which is lovecreatesfreedom.com. That's what I want to talk about with the victim. It's such a big conversation, so I don't want to go too long about it. But that is why, is because of this victim beingness. Now, the second point I wanted to make is people won't pay to heal their shit. People will pay to distract themselves from their shit. And it's true, right? People will pay for coffee, which fuels their shit. People will pay for takeaway, fuels your shit. People will pay for Netflix, fuels your shit. People will pay for YouTube, fuels your shit. People will even pay for talk therapy, which sometimes, unfortunately, fuels your shit. We pay for these therapy sessions and coaches from people who have no idea how to support someone who has trauma at their core. They only know how to support people who have trauma with a strong foundation in place that they can fall back on, because it's a completely different way of being, right? There's probably like a very small number, let's say, at a guess, 5% of the population that have trauma at their core. Then it's 95% of the population, which is for people who have been through trauma, but it is not who they are. It's not at their core. It is not their being. They did not come into the world, into trauma. They had trauma happen to them throughout their life. Doesn't mean it's any easier. I just want to say it does not mean it's been any easier for them to shift it. Some people still find it really hard to shift. Some people have had horrible things to them. I'm not negating any of that. That is not what this is about. This is about acknowledging the people who have not been seen and have not been heard and have not been acknowledged, that have trauma at their core and do not understand why nothing is helping. And the downside is that because this entire world is programmed for distraction, right? Everything about this world is distract, 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 distract. Everything that you take in is designed to distract you from your feelings. It's normal to distract yourself. And so we pay for all of these distractions, but we will not actually pay for the things that really truly heal us. And it was really interesting. I'm a big fan of Joe Dispenza, and it was really interesting because he has a sale on his video on his meditations at the moment. His meditations are $25. Like, what's $25? It's not even a dinner out. And this one person said he should do all that for free. He's made enough money now. And I looked at that and I went, wow, that was me 10 years ago for sure. I would have written that comment back then too. And I wrote, so what's enough? Like, what is enough? What is enough money? You're not willing to pay $25 for one meditation to help with your healing, but you are probably maybe buying alcohol. You would happily spend that on a bottle of wine or lunch out. You happily spend that on lunch or maybe a top or Netflix and YouTube and Disney and whatever else people pay. People pay to subscribe to watch shows that are designed to distract from how you feel, but they're not willing to invest in something that could potentially help them feel. So they are the two things that I wanted to cover today, is being aware that of being a victim and addicted to that victim, because it is at your being. And really, you do go through a stage where you feel like you do not have a choice. And you don't have a choice for a little while. But once you start admitting to yourself that, yes, I am addicted to being a victim, and yes, I am a victim at my core, it is my beingness, then you can start taking the actions to shift it. But it's really important to come to that awareness and to own that and to admit it. And then the second one is, are you willing to pay to actually heal yourself? Or are you paying for things that distract yourself? Because they're two different things. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to know about meditations and where you could be going wrong and why they're not working for you, then check out this video that I created as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.